Okay, we're back. I think it's part C. At that point, we're flipping forward to John 5:45, and let me read first. I'm going to give an offering, of course, with some DJ. We're not that much in a rush, but I'm really excited because I think I'm understanding this book correctly. I hope you guys are understanding it with me. I hope it makes sense because it's all based on aroma so far that I've seen, right? Okay. So get ready. We've already blasted off. We're floating. We have a different air about us. We have a new spirit about us. Now, can we have that same spirit tomorrow morning when we wake up? We're going to practice. When we put on our uniform for the day, whatever our clothes are, it doesn't matter what our clothes are. When we put on our uniform, just know that, hey, we're dressing up for God's team, not the army of God. I want to kind of get away from the army of God. The team sport aspect of the name on the front, Deuters, Yankees, Bruins. What's that other team? Bruins and I always forget. Just kidding, it's SC, I'm just kidding. Yankees and SC versus Dodgers and Bruins at that point, right? But we're going to merge teams now. We're going to Judaism, Christianity meets Roman Catholicism, Catholicism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and atheism, because everybody likes to get stoned, and we just need to recognize that God gave us every plant. He's not some controlling freak. We just have to enjoy His feelings, His thoughts, not be paranoid of them, but embrace them. So with that, we're going to wake up, right? When you get high, don't you wake up? Your senses are like, oh my goodness. Like you're paranoid or you're energetic or you're euphoric, right? Well, we're going to do that. So stop talking, Charlie, and open our minds. I do what I'm told. Hey, it's 111 right now. 111. We got triple ones. 3 and 1 still equal 1. Hashem is the only God. We're going to hear it and see it in a few minutes. 5, 4, 3. Walls. We're going to burn them up into a cloud of smoke, fragrant incense. Yes. No, we're bound by CB1 and CB2 receivers. Don't get out of that communication. Yep, death. Firewood. Charlie, I need you to be a watchtower or a call with a mission. What was Ezekiel? I just saw it. A watchman. Yes. So I'm a watchman now. I'm watching out for everybody who wants to watch these videos saying, hey, it is my responsibility now that I have the information to share it. Because if something happens to you and I didn't share the information, something's going to happen to you and the responsibility would be on me. Well, if I share the information and you don't change, the responsibility is going to be still on you because you didn't change your attitude either. Do you have a good attitude or a bad attitude? How are your instincts? Do you want to have an open fist and say, I'm sorry, my bad? Or do you want to say, your fault, dislike you, defriend you? That is the choices that we're making, right? So as we have these choices, let's get into the mix of the book. So we went from Zechariah, the branch, my servant, to Matthew 3, and I am well pleased, and we looked at the other well pleases, right? We did. And then we want to look at Numbers 28, which we did. We saw, oh my goodness, No, we didn't actually look at Numbers 28, did we? Let me look at it again. Yeah, my offering, the daily offerings. Right, just to review it again. Make sure that you present or present, or it's a present, or are you in the present moment? There's 4 words all wrapped up into the same phonetics. It's a present. God sent His messenger. It's Jesus as the last one. The landowner, God, the landowner story, sent His son finally, and they killed Him. That's the story Jesus read. Crazy. So anyways, we're going to go from Numbers 28 to John 5:45. Here it is. And we're going to see what Jesus said. So in John 5:45, here it is. John 5:45. Jesus says this, but do not think that I, Jesus, will accuse you, Charlie, before my Father. Okay, I wasn't thinking that, so good. I won't think that you, Jesus, will accuse me before the Father. Thanks. I will not accuse you before my Father. Your accuser, Charlie? I have an accuser still? Is Moses. What? Huh? Your accuser is Moses, on whom your hopes are set. If you believe Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote about me. But since you do not believe what he wrote, how are you going to believe what I say? There you have it. What did Moses write? Well, that's why everything is funny back in the old. The laws, the various laws, the little sentences, the words used here, here, and here, and here, and here. Here I am, send me. Well, my dad said, don't volunteer for anything. I'm like, I'm going to volunteer for God, because he just saved my life. And I'm going to raise my hand and testify in open court in front of all my new friends and new fellow Israelite, Judean, Christian, Buddhists, all believing in one God, Hashem. And he's going to give you life after this world. If you believe, he'll give you rainbows and sunshine and summer evenings that never end. You'll feel like a kid, euphoric, happy. We should look at the effects on leafly.com for cannabis, right? So, Jesus says this. Listen, Jesus says, but do not think I will accuse you before my Father. I won't. Your accuser is Moses. He wrote the law, guys. He spent 40 days twice on a fire mountain full of cloud of smoke, an aroma, satisfying, pleasing, and food for God, because God's always eating his own aroma. Duh. What are you driving, right? We drive in some sort of smell in our car. Look, we have a smell to cover up our poop, right? A smell to cover up our poop. Well, the smell for God, the glory of God, is a fragrant incense offering daily. So, but do not think I will accuse you before the Father. Your accuser is Moses, on whom your hopes are set. If you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote about me. But you don't believe what Moses said, or Moses wrote, so you're not going to believe what I say. That sucks. So Jesus really makes it interesting. I want to flip back a little bit with some time on this one. We're probably going to get to another video. I'm just going to go through it, because this is what I'm told to do. So this is testimonies about Jesus. This is actually John 5:31. We're just going to read John 5:31. Actually, no, we're not actually. We're going to go John 5:45. We're going to get through this set. What did Paul say in Ephesians 5? Okay, good job, Charlie. Thank you. I get carried away. What did Paul say in Ephesians 5? Let's get to Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5. God said, Christ. Actually, hold on. Where am I? Be kind and compassionate to one another. That's good advice. Forgiving each other. From now on, nobody's going to do you any more harm, because you know if it's harm and it hurts your heart, well, let your heart be a little stronger. Know that they're a child of God. Don't preach to them yet. Just Say, you know what, it was my fault, I'm sorry. And they'll see that. And they'll go, wow. And how consistent can you bunt knowing that you're going to get out, but you're always going to be the best bunter on the team? You'll give yourself up. You'll give yourself up every time. So, it says, follow God's example, therefore, as dearly loved children, sons and daughters of God. That's a one-to-one relationship right there. And walk in the way of love. Your love awakens me. We're awake. Walk in the way of love. Just as Christ loved us, and he gave himself up as a fragrant offering and sacrifice, which is what I am doing. Now, I didn't know I was doing it, but it just happened and developed because I started believing and reading. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. And now I'm like, oh, fragrant offering, burnt offering, sacrifices, daily, weekly, all the festivals. Hanukkah, we're going to start to celebrate it. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. If I'm going to drop the videos starting this week, we're going to go back to the beginning, and then we're going to launch. So I'm going to kick the bucket and do my own funeral. I'm going to attend my own funeral on my old Facebook page, and I'm going to do my new life at a 420 Bible study. So, he says, and walk in the way of love. Don't walk in any other way. Love, sweet love. Just as Christ loved us. Because literally, I've gone through a separation. Ouch, it hurt. Okay, but I wasn't beaten up. I didn't shoot anybody. Nobody shot at me. I didn't have any abuse. Nobody abused me. There's people that have had way worse than me. But, I don't know. Hanging on a pole? Has anybody had that happen to them lately in the last 30, 40 years? Some of the African American ancestors, and then some of the white people, and then some of the people in general. All of us have had ancestors, humankind and God's one God, our Father. All of us have ancestors that have been oppressed. But now that we're waking up to, oh, shoot, God was oppressing us. That's the hand of God. And he's the oppressor. And if we cry out enough, all of us, gradually, and stop making silly mistakes and stop running into cars. And listen, if you don't want to get into an accident, you won't. If everybody has that thought for one day only, everybody focuses on driving, not getting to work, but driving to the address and then getting out and doing work, then nobody will get into an accident for a day, or it will be drastically reduced, right? Reduce lives, reduce death, offer incense, talk to God, have him work with people's hearts. There you go. So Ephesians 5 says, follow God's example. It's God's example. If you want to follow an example, don't follow mine, but I do follow God's example. So did Jesus. We are true and faithful witnesses. Jesus was saved, figured it all out, and knew he was going to rise, and he went through the whole process. I figured it all out, that I don't have to die physically, just like Adam and Eve didn't die physically, but I've been resurrected from no blood, bloodshed, to full life, full blood, great aroma. And I please him every day, and I honor him every day, and I should shut up right now. So, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us, and gave himself up as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Awesome. Now, what did Paul say also about that? Let's go to 2 Corinthians 2 and see what also he said. And it's only a couple pages, but my book's stuck. So, 2 Corinthians 2. Good flipping and flopping. If I can get there. I think I'm going to run into another video, but it's okay, guys. We're going to do another video tonight. It'll end the black shirt day. By the way, I color coordinate my shirts, all my videos for one day. It's my workout uniform. So, 2 Corinthians 2. It says, forgiveness for the offender. if anyone has caused grief, he has not so much grieved me as he has grieved all of you to some extent. Remember, if they were bickering at Moses, they're really bickering at God. Not to put it too severely, the punishment flick an ant off the picnic table. We are servants. We beg for crumbs to fall from the table. We are dogs. Even dogs can ask for something from the table, Lord. And that woman, based on her answer, her response verbally, which is what we're practicing, to give a response if we're asked a question based on Kene, Bossum, yes. So, now instead you ought to forgive and comfort him. So make him feel better. Give him a hand up, literally, not financially. That's an inside jab. Anyways, I urge you, now instead forgive and comfort him so that he will not be overwhelmed by excessive sorrow. So we have the ability to take away people's sorrow. That's kind of cool. I urge you, Paul says, therefore to reaffirm your love for him. Another reason I wrote you, to see if you would stand the test and be obedient in everything. It's a test. We're going to study every day. At that point, they will find us, just like Jesus was in the house of God when he didn't go back to the festival, or because he didn't go back with his parents. They came looking for him. He was in the house of God. God knows exactly where I am every day. I'm right here. Unless he tells me to go out by somebody calling me and they ask me for something, or I need to go out and say something. Otherwise, I'm right in my home, dwelling with Hashem. So, be obedient. It's a test. Anyone you forgive, I also forgive. And what I have forgiven, if there was anything to forgive, I have forgiven it in the sight of Christ for your sake, in order that Satan might not outwit us. It's mind games, guys. And if you're half asleep because you're busy with work, he got you. He just creeps in. Here's a little money. You want front row seats? Take them. You want Lakers season tickets, front row? Take them. You want to make great movies? Go ahead, make them. I'll give you lots of stuff. How many examples are we going to do? So we're starting to stop all that stuff. We're like, okay, Satan, get behind me. Next. God's in front. Satan, get behind. The pillar of salt. We were a pillar of salt. We were stiff-necked. We were hard-hearted. By the way, who made our hearts hard? Well, God hardened Pharaoh's hearts. So my heart was hard to him. Now he melted it with cannabis, and I love him for it. So we're going to wrap it up. And that's not what I thought. I wanted 2:10. And that wasn't 2:10. So that wasn't correct. Maybe it was 1 Corinthians 2:10. 1 Corinthians 2:10. Maybe that was it. Anyways, that was good. Oh, let's just read it real quick. We have a minute and a half. These are the things... Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, let's go back to 9. However, as it is written, God's wisdom... Here it is. Oh, you know what? We're going to be in Matthew 2, or 1 Corinthians 2 when we get back. God's wisdom revealed by the Spirit. The branch, the buds, and the blossoms, the palm branch, the 5 and the 7. We grow wings, we get 7, fully on fire. We're fully mature. Now we're just children learning how to take our spiritual milk and gagging so often, or just thinking it's fun. Well, cannabis is fun. Get stoned all you want. You won't rise. You'll be judged later and say, didn't you hear Charlie talking? He was reminding you. No, I didn't realize he was talking to me. I'm talking to you. Reminds me of the Abbott and Costello video. What are you asking me for? You're the coach. You should know the names of the players. Who's on first? Yes. The player's name? Yes. The guy's name at first? Yes. What's the player's name at first? What's on second? Who's on second? Yes, he's on first. No, not what's on second. Who's on first? Back and forth. Anyways, I'm going to end in a few seconds, and we're going to pick it up, and we're going to go back to Jesus, and we're almost done. We're going to reread 2 Corinthians 2:10, God's wisdom revealed by the Spirit, and then we're going to get to why did Jesus come, and talk about the palm branch and the reed. Baruch Hashem, and stay tuned, guys. It's going to get even better.